The new offensive coordinator has arrived. We break down Eric Bieniemy's first day on the job and take a look at what is next for the offense. After winning the Super Bowl just over a week ago, Bieniemy sits down to discuss all he has learned from his time with the Chiefs and what he wants to bring to Washington. And with the offseason underway, we challenge our analysts Fred Smoot and Logan Paulsen to see how well they know the Commanders. You don't want to miss it. And welcome on into Command Center. Julia Donaldson, Logan Paulsen, and Fred Smoot. And boy, you could feel the energy and the excitement in the building today as we got our first introduction to Eric Bieniemy, Fred.
You gotta love it. You gotta love the energy. You gotta love the plan. You gotta love the fact that he is certified. He's a certified Super Bowl winner. You gotta understand, if I'm an offensive player and Terry McLaurin, I woke up this morning, everything's just so great for me right now. Logan, you're an offensive player.
No, yeah.
I feel good about that.
And absolutely to your point, Fred, like his pedigree's unparalleled, right? Two Super Bowls. He's led one of the best offenses in the NFL. He knows how to use his skill position players. That's one thing that stuck out from the presser, right? I'm going to mold this offense to what we have and make those guys better. If I'm a player on this offense, I'm ecstatic.
Players were here for sure as well, getting introduction and meeting for the first time, maybe in person, who's going to be leading the charge going forward. And I'll tell you this, Eric Bieniemy, he commanded that room. Appointed as assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, he officially met with the media this morning after being introduced by head coach Ron Rivera. It is certainly an exciting time for the Commanders franchise. Some big names on the offense here to take it all in, including, as we just heard, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Sam Howell. And well, here's what Bieniemy had to say about taking the job with Washington.
I'm excited about this opportunity. I've known Coach Ron now since 1999, so relationships mean something. I've known Coach Mayhew for a number of years, and that means something. I've known Mr. Stokes for a number of years, and so I have no doubt about what they're building here. Obviously, they went to the playoffs in the previous year, so they were basically real close this year of going. So I have never, ever backed down from a challenge. So I'm embracing this challenge. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm excited when it's time to start talking ball with these guys, to start getting to work. But when it's all said and done with, why not Washington?
Eric Bieniemy certainly commands the room, and you were kind of hanging on every single word that he was saying, Fred. It shows that things will be different.
Yeah, not only different, more exciting. He said, I want a couple of things from my offense. I want them to be fast, unpredictable, and we're going to have fun doing it. That also tells me that he's going to make sure everybody knows the plan of attack, and then they attack. And you got to love that as an offensive player. Like, I love it, and I'm a defensive player. For a long time, the one weakness is, why do we run the plays? You run the plays, and are we connecting the plays? I think we got something here, and if you're a part of this fan base, you got to be feeling good right about now.
Look, both of you have familiarity with him, playing against him, with him, underneath him. You know, it goes back. But Logan, what would you say the biggest thing is that you kind of learned from what he's going to bring to Washington?
Yeah, I think the thing that's most exciting, it came across in the press conference too, is like the way he commands the room and his attention to detail. Like he mentioned that in the presser. You see that in how that Kansas City office executed. Been watching a lot of Kansas City film. They are very detail oriented in what they do, and I think that's something that was maybe lacking or could have been improved on over the last couple seasons. So can't wait to get that here, because a detailed offense is a dangerous offense, and really excited that he's going to bring that mentality
Julie,
here.
you brought that up. I actually had the pleasure of practicing against him for a whole entire year when I was in Minnesota. And the one thing he knew about me, I don't like to give up fade routes, so he started running comebacks at me. All right, so then I said, Coach, why you running these comebacks? He said, because you play too high. So he will adjust. I've had time to go to war with him. I know where his mind frame is, and I know how he thinks, and that's attack, and that's what you want on offense.
You know, if I was a player sitting in that front row, I would say, okay, the biggest message came is that he wants to know who I am as a player, as an individual, and then how to put me in the best situation to succeed. But he says he's really big on accountability, and when you're too comfortable, that can lead to trouble, which is why he took this job, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like Fred and I were talking about this. This is not a perfect job by any stretch of the imagination, but it's an opportunity for him to kind of prove it, right? Get to know these players, emphasize these skill sets, and I think that's exciting. That's an exciting opportunity for a guy who wants to challenge himself and make himself better.
Fred, look, he said he's been quite busy over the past few weeks, reasonably so.
Parades, all kind of things.
Yeah, but when it does come come to evaluating now his offense? What's
Yeah.
the first step?
The first step is saying, you know what? I have all these guys on the outside. We need to get the inside together. We need the guys that smell like bacon. When I go to the grocery store, I go to the bacon section first. All right, you know why? Because I need that defense. All right, and you look at the Super Bowl contenders. It was the number 1 and number 2 offense and defensive lines.
Yep.
All right, if you want to eat in this league, you got to push people around. Stores with the big guys.
Starts from the inside out, and he was very clear to say that you have to be able to protect the quarterback. He doesn't want his quarterback to be hit. As a player, he didn't want that. As a coach, he doesn't want that. So, look, the evaluations will begin soon enough, but let's give him a little chance to catch your breath.
Patient, be patient.
It is time now to go inside the matchup, presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Washington Commanders. And this upcoming season, Bieniemy and the Commanders offense will face some pretty tough defenses. Washington's going to go against 6 of the league's top 10 ranked defensive units from the 2022 season. 49ers ranked first, holding opponents to just about 300 yards per game, and the Eagles, who we'll see twice in 2023, had the second ranked defense right behind San Fran. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
First impressions so far of what is going to be your new home and your new family, because you've already had the opportunity to meet some of your players, evaluate some of the staff, now the media.
Very impressed. Obviously, I've known Coach Rivera for a number of years. He's a great man, a man of integrity. He's an outstanding leader of men, and I'm just grateful to have this opportunity working with him, and then having an opportunity to get to know Martin Mayhew, over the years, and Stokes over the years, and then Jason Wright. He's from the same neck of the woods that I grew up in Southern California. And then Marty Herney. A lot of people don't know this. Marty Herney was on that staff. I think he was the director of player personnel at the time when I was drafted by the San Diego Chargers. So our relationship goes back to 1991. So it feels good being in an environment with people that you know, but also good people who are professional men that understand what it takes to build a winner.
You know, when head coach Ron Rivera first started this, he wanted something different to help run this offense because there's so much talent. And I know we don't like to talk too much about potential, but there's a lot of potential there. Now, your success is very well documented. I know you're not wearing your Super Bowl rings right now, flashing them, but you have every right to stand proud of the accomplishments you have. What makes you, though, the right guy for this job here in D.C.?
Well, what makes me the right guy is the leadership that I'm going to bring. On top of that, holding guys to the highest standard, getting them to understand the importance of being accountable. I think that goes a very long way. On top of that, just understanding what consistent and disciplined behavior is. And you got to be willing to work at it every single day. And then willing to sacrifice. And when I mean sacrifice, it ain't necessarily giving up something. It's what are you willing to do to make the next man better. And so once you start building that and start getting guys to understand the importance of those terms and they start living it, now you have an opportunity to be as successful as you want, because a part of that is making sure you're building a cohesive unit. And if you get a cohesive unit that believe in each other and play for each other, those guys they'll go out and be great because the talent is here.
A lot of it starts with the quarterback. As we've seen, we've heard, this team has not had a lot of stability. Still trying to really find that number one QB, be it a veteran that they potentially bring in or Sam Howell coming in here. And I know Coach Rivera has been quick to say they're going to give him every opportunity to be that guy. From what you know of quarterbacks, and even Pat Mahomes, was a little raw when he'll come in, had to learn, develop, and grow into being who we know him as today. What do you see in Howell, and what is it you want out of him to where he could be that guy to lead this team?
Well, first of all, you see a guy who can make a number of throws. We had an opportunity to evaluate him coming out when he came out of North Carolina. On top of that, I had a bunch of insider information with people who coaches and work at the University of North Carolina. So I feel like I know the kid. But the kid just has something about him. But you always want to create competition to bring the very best out of each player. So do I think Sam has an opportunity to be the number one guy? Yes, he does. But you want to create a competitive environment so nobody's taking anything for granted. Because when it's all said and done, we want to make sure that our guys are being at their best when their best is needed.
We'll see what he has to offer during the offseason, and that's when you can really get into the evaluations to see what this team kind of needs to be successful. But you're already a little familiar with the running backs, the receivers, the offensive line. Being a running back yourself, do you fall to the mentality of run first?
I'll say this. we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And when it's all said and done, we're going to play complimentary football. We want our guys to not fall into the idea that, hey, we have to do this. No, we got to do whatever it takes to win. That's the most important thing. So, yes, we will run it, and yes, we will throw it. But when it's all said and done, we're going to do whatever is needed to help us to accomplish the goal.
You've been around some of the best talent in the game. When you do evaluate this roster, and I know it's still early, what is that potential? Do you dare talk about that potential?
I think you have to be careful with that. And like I said, I'm still going through the evaluation process, but I also have to say as a fan, because I'm still a fan of football, and a number of these guys I've had an opportunity to evaluate when they came out of college. You can't help but be a fan of the young talent here. Now, I just got to make sure that we're putting it together the right way and giving these guys the best opportunity to be successful. But that's a part of the evaluation process as well. So I got to make sure that I go back and take a look at every position, making sure that I can have a set plan and put it together the right way for these particular players.
I've heard a lot of different stories on your coaching style and how verbal and choice of words and the alpha of alphas.
It's just rumors.
So how would you describe that? Because my understanding is it can be intense and for a good reason.
Well, a part of it is getting to know the players, okay? And my job is to make sure that I'm continuing to develop the relationships. And so the way I like the term is that I coach hard, but I coach fair. I'm going to be your biggest advocate, but on top of that, okay, I'm going to be your harshest critic. But nothing's coming from a personal attack. One thing I'm attacking is attacking that particular issue that I think that you could have done a better job of. And when we're being accountable to one another, they'll know to learn that, hey, you know what? I got to be better in that particular situation. But there's a place and time for that. And you pick and choose your own moments. But sometimes it might just be like, hey, you can just look at a player and they'll look back, yeah, coach, I screwed that one up. And that's all that needs to be said.
I'm looking forward to seeing that coaching style come to place as we do get into off-season and training camp and eventually next season as well. Coming up, we take a deeper dive into the numbers on offense to see what areas Eric Bieniemy may be able to help improve here in Washington. Plus, we catch up with former Washington and Kansas City quarterback Trent Green to give us his perspective on what Bieniemy's hire means for Washington. And you can become a 2023 Commander season ticket member today. Claim your place at FedEx Field for the 2023 season starting at just $50. Commander season tickets include more benefits than ever before. New year-round events tailored to you. 50% off game day concessions and more. Get the details and place your season ticket deposit at commanders.com/season ticket. With Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator, the Chiefs have put up some remarkable numbers under his reign. This past season, Kansas City led the league in points per game, averaging a shade over 29 a contest. And during the regular season, the Chiefs scored 25 or more points 12 times, going a perfect 12-0 in those games. Now compare that to Washington, scored just 25 or more points just 12 times in the last 3 seasons combined. Now, with Bieniemy as the OC, the Chiefs finished in the top 6 in total offense each of the last 5 seasons and finished with a top-ranked unit during 3 of those seasons. Compare that to Washington, has not finished better than 23rd on offense during the same span, leaving plenty of room for improvement on the offensive side of the ball here under Bieniemy. Trent Green now joins us, a former quarterback for Washington and Kansas City with a few stops along the way and, of course, now a few rings, having won the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if you've had a lot of time to reset and rest. As we learned from Eric Bieniemy, there really has been no stop after the Super Bowl. But catching your breath, Trent?
I have been. And it's an exciting time around Kansas City. This is where we live, and we didn't go to the Super Bowl, but we did go to the parade and take part in that. My daughter, I still have one child at home. She's a junior in high school, and so she wanted to go down. And it's a lot of fun. The city's excited. There's a lot going on, especially with Patrick Mahomes and 5 straight AFC Championship games at home, 3 Super Bowl appearances, and of course just winning their second. So there's a lot of excitement going around Kansas City, and then the draft. The draft's going to be here in Kansas City in a short month or two. So coming up quick.
It certainly does. People always ask about the offseason. There really isn't much of an offseason, as we know, in the NFL. And it certainly is not for Eric Bieniemy, as he went straight from what he said was kind of busy over the last few weeks, getting ready for the Super Bowl and the celebrations after, and then taking the job here in Washington. You've had an up-close personal look at his kind of coaching style and what he brings to the offense. What is Washington getting from him?
Washington is getting someone that's very detail oriented. He's going to be hard. He's going to push them. If you're a player that doesn't like to be coached, you're probably not going to get along with Eric Bieniemy. And I've known Eric since I was 23 years old. He and I were on the Chargers together my rookie season. So I spent 1 year with him as a player. And then I've talked to him and followed his career since then. Not only as a player, but then when he moved into the coaching realm and I moved into the broadcasting area. So I've had a lot of conversations with him. I've been on practice fields with him. I know what he's about. He's very demanding, very detail-oriented. He's going to expect the most out of his players. And he's coaching everybody from the number one guy all the way to the bottom of the practice squad. So he's going to be very demanding about what his expectations are, the details that they have to take into their specific positions, their specific roles, and that will carry throughout the entire offense.
You know, he spent a lot of time today saying that he wanted a challenge, and that is why he decided to leave Kansas City and come here to Washington. There's a lot of that word we don't like to talk about, potential here. But can you explain the role that he had in dynamic with Andy Reid? Because everybody says, okay, he would map out the plan, he would do the scripting, the charting, but he didn't necessarily call all of the plays.
Yeah, that's true. He first started off as a running back coach here in Kansas City and then elevated to offensive coordinator. And as that role changed and what his expectations were, first Doug Peterson was here and he moved on to be head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles and is, now down in Jacksonville. Matt Nagy was here and went to Chicago. Now Matt Nagy is back on the staff. So those two had a similar type of role of what Eric Bieniemy has or had here in the city. And what it is Andy likes to promote coaches and move them along and give them opportunities. And there were points in time early in his tenure as offensive coordinator where during a preseason game, he'd say, hey, Eric, you're taking this series. And then that gradually worked into regular season games to where Eric was, hey, you've got this series, or you've got this quarter, or you've got this half. There were opportunities and times where Andy turned that over just to give those guys experience, calling games.
Coming up, we have a little fun ending the show with a quick game of command phrase, kind of like catchphrase, but with a Washington twist. And you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned for that. And get ahead of the game. Secure your luxury suite for the 2023 season. Experience the excitement of a Commanders game from the climate-controlled comfort and privacy of a luxury suite. Enjoy gourmet catering options, VIP parking, and more for you and your guests. Learn more and place your suite deposit for the 2023 season at commanders.com/suites. Game day details are delivered by Paisanos. Order online at paisanospizza.com. And hey, don't look now, but the NFL Combine, it kicks off in Indianapolis starting next week. This year's group of prospects will put their skills on display in front of NFL coaches and scouting staffs in anticipation of this year's draft taking place at the end of April. We'll have plenty of coverage from this year's Combine on Command Center and the team's website. Make sure you follow it all. All right, catchphrase, or should I say command phrase, that is how we're going to end this show with a little fun game. We're going to have a name, a word, a place, and you're going to have to guess with each other of what that is, okay?
All right.
Each of you gets 1 minute to do this, and we'll see at the end who has the best skills at command phrase. All right, Logan, you're going to go first. Let's put 1 minute on the clock, and here we go. Fred, let's help him out in 3, 2, 1.
All right. This guy right here, sexiest man in America. All right, not only is he the sexiest man in America, could be the funniest man in America and very athletic.
Is it you?
It's me.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
This is a position. We had one of the best to ever do it in Sean Taylor.
Safety.
Yep, gotcha. All right, this guy right here, he's the Pope of coaching football. Not only is he the Pope, he also does. Thank you. Mm-hmm. This guy, we talking flow model black and white TVs. All right, we talking about letting it go, and they say he used to sling it.
Oh, Sonny.
No. Slinging who?
Sammy Ball.
All right, thank you. All right, this is what you do to make a quarterback feel make him feel uncomfortable.
Blitz.
Thank you. All right, I just brought his name up. The best ever playing position here.
Sean Taylor.
Thank you.
And there you go. That is 1 minute for Logan. Nice
job, Fred.
gentlemen. Okay, so now we have 1 minute for Fred on the other
Sexiest
side.
man alive. Dead giveaway.
That really should have been it, right? It should have. We ready to reset? Okay, here we go. 1 minute, Fred. Let's see what you have.
All right.
This is when you catch the ball after the offense throws it to you.
Interception.
Yes, there we go. Interception. He used to play football here, quarterback, hurt his leg real bad.
Joe Biden.
Yep. They used to play football games here. The stadium used to bounce when they used to cheer.
RFK.
Yep, there we go. He was the first to win a Super Bowl for this organization, African-American quarterback.
Doug Williams.
There we go. This is a guy that is awesome to work with. You love hanging out with him. We're best friends.
Logan Paulsen.
Yes, there we go. Okay. Okay, this is when offense, they score a
Touchdown.
Yeah, there we go. This is where the team currently plays football games.
FedEx Field.
This is when the defense is mean to the quarterback.
Sack.
Yes, Fred. Good job, buddy. He was a great running back here. Liked to drink beer.
Oh, John Riggins.
Yep, there we go. He is the current head football coach.
Ron Rivera, baby.
I feel like I helped Fred win this game. I feel like I helped Fred win this game. It's the clue that helps win.
I'm not quite sure if that win actually should go to Fred or should go to you, Logan.
It should go.
It's very well
I
done.
thought I gave you great phrases.
Yeah, but you're drawn out. You're wordy, which is what we love you.
Yeah, I've been saying. I've been known to do that. Son of a preacher.
Also
All
got
right,
kids.
well,
so.
we hope you enjoyed this show. And again, welcome to the Washington Commanders, Eric Bieniemy. We look forward to all the great things that will come. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next time.